This is going to be a demonstration of a hip flexor activation and lengthening technique. Many of us suffer from short hip flexors, and that pulls our pelvis down and forward, which increases the extension in our lumbar. This comes from two things: poor motor control and them frankly just being weak and overused from being in the seated position. This exercise is going to teach you not only how to control the psoas, but also how to lengthen it, load it, and then contract it. So this is a complete exercise. It will basically re-educate your hip flexors so that they work properly, including your TFL. For this, you're going to need a bench or a chair and a heavy weight or an immovable object. When I'm at the gym, I use a bench and I tend to hook my foot under a machine with a low point. In this case, I'm going to be using this folding chair, and I'm going to hook my foot under this weight, which is pretty heavy. It's a 40-pound weight. Normally I would grab a 50, but I don't have a 50 here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit in my chair. I'm going to try to get this leg to 90 degrees. And I'm going to set up then where I'm going to tuck my chin in and down. I'm going to tuck my pelvis, and I'm going to pick up this knee, and I'm going to hold everything tight. From here, I'm going to slowly lower back, feeling that hip flexor lengthen, and then once I get to the very edge, I'm going to pull myself up like I'm trying to pull my knee up. So I'm going to resist, 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 resist from here, and then I'm going to pull. Resist, 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 pull. Resist, 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 here. You see, I'm trying to keep this neutral. This holds. Pull. Just like so. Then I'm going to switch to the other side. Now I'm going to demonstrate it so you can see what this leg's doing. So I'm going to tuck. I'm going to rotate back. I'm going to try to keep my pelvis neutral and my knee as high as I can get it. Ugh. Slow. This feels far away to me right now. So I also have to keep my toes pulling up the whole time. So resist, 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 pull. Keeping everything tucked. Resist, 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 pull. Now, if you can't lean as far back as I'm leaning initially, that's okay. You have to work inside of a range of motion that's comfortable. Understand that the psoas attaches inside the thigh here, runs up to the pelvis, and actually runs through the body and attaches to the lumbar. That's why this neutral pelvic position and this engaged rectus abdominis really matters. And it's because we're learning to control the psoas, even though it's, while you're using it to move your whole body, still regulating your lumbar position, because that's one of its primary functions. So it's important that you're not allowing yourself to do this, where I'm arching like this. I'm trying to keep this all tight. This knee, you'll notice that when I hit the end range of motion, the knee starts to stay in place and the rest of me starts to move. So this has to be hugged up really tight and then pulled back down. That's really, really key. You're also probably going to feel really uncomfortable with the balance element of falling backward. So it's going to take time to get used to this. If this is too hard, an easier variation is to start on the ground with your foot anchored, keeping everything tucked, lowering, and pulling yourself up by squeezing your hamstring and glute. Lowering, pulling yourself up. Lowering, pulling yourself up. Understand that this is specifically a hip flexor exercise. So the reason I don't much care for staying with this is it still keeps the psoas in a shortened position. We want the knee to eventually be in line with the hip when we're contracting. But more than anything, we want to get in touch with the muscle so we can contract without throwing. We're trying to pull from the leg. And we're learning to do it on each side independently, because if you're the type of person that naturally has a high hip, low shoulder, or a twist in your body, chances are you have one that's longer and stronger than the other, and you need to balance them out.